you guys seen the picture floating around of the Rachel Levine and I think Sam Brinton these are Biden government officials that were sent over to France or to meet with the French or whatever. I guess they don't call them transvestites anymore, transgenders or what? I don't even know what the definition of drag queens. We sent 2 drag queens over to meet with the people in France. I don't. This is just a bad look for America and us. Delano has a take on it. He goes big picture here. Delano, I'm going to let you explain your column. I read it, enjoyed it, but no one can explain it better than you, so step right up to the plate.
Sure. So Jason, first thing, I know we typically say, diversity, inclusion, and equity. But for the sake of brevity, I said, let me go with the term that most people know, right, which is D.E.I. And I explained that first wave D.E.I., as you said, is diversity, equity, and inclusion, which focuses on race and sex and, promoting diversity in academia and in the workplace. So I mentioned examples of that would be policies like affirmative action. It could be, a computer programming camp for black teenagers, or government set-asides for women-owned businesses. And even though those things have had opponents for a long time, most people, generally speaking, are willing to see the net of inclusion expanded as long as the bar of performance is not lowered. But second wave DEI is very different, and the acronym stands for something different as well. Second wave DEI is about demoralization, extortion, and intimidation. And the purpose of it is to force social change on an unwilling public. So that picture of Dr. Admiral, is like a Reverend Doctor in the church. So Dr. Admiral Rachel Levine and Sam Brinton is the quintessential picture of second wave DEI, because what they are doing, and the leaders of this movement they are forcing an unwilling public, regular people, right, who still understand that men are men and women are women. They're forcing all of us to submit to their new regime. And even though most people know Dr. Levine, Sam Brinton is really the more interesting figure here, because Sam Brinton has a public profile as a handler in the puppy play fetish scene, right? Sam Brinton formerly was an LGBT activist. This picture shows he looks like Matt Damon in drag, but was an LGBT activist who was profiled, I think, in 2016 in Metro Weekly as part of the puppy play scene. So you got a bunch of people who dress up as dogs in leather and chains, and Sam Brinton was the guy who played the dominant role. And the point that I'm making in my column is a lot of the people who go along with this stuff, right, who call Rachel Levine, a woman, or I mentioned Leah Thomas, right, the Penn swimmer, the fact that his teammates won't step up and speak out against him is because they've been demoralized. And they know that the waves of culture are moving in such a direction that if they did speak up, they would be the ones criticized instead of Leah Thomas. So in actuality, sort of the broad picture of it is the fact that second wave DEI has made it so that impossible women, right, are more valued than XX chromosome women. It's the first time in human history, Jason, in which a fake commodity is seen as more valuable than the real thing.